Sure.
Yeah, we are recording.
Thank
Okay, so Aura is a kind of a component. Sorry, modular design program means modular design. It's all the components are means all the means. Suppose I need to design this this page inside the Aura, then it should not be a single page. Means we have not to design all the thing in the same component. We have to design the component one, component two, component three, component four, and these are itself a component. Means in the Aura you have to design everything in a component. hmm? Everything you have to design in a component. Means this header be a component, this what is path, yeah, stage path. This stage path will be a component, this whole thing will be a component, and this log thing will be a component. And details, if you click on the details, then the things which are appear on the details, it's also be a component. It means that everything was designed in a component, and we merge all the component together and use it there. So it works in this way. Means we have to just design a components, and that component is a kind of a reusable component. Means just design as it is, that it can be reused to at any place. And so this is the way that Aura is working. Means Aura is just a programming language used to design the only components that is in lightning view. Means it is work only for the lightning view. And you have to just whatever the task you have given, you just to first uh, split that task into smaller pieces, means a smaller component, and then use all the components together to create a whole page. Similarly, just like if you have designed this opportunity detail page, so you have to design everything in the component. These are a component, everything is in a component, and then merge all component on a single page and call and that's it. Okay, so this is the way how the Aura component is designed, and let's have a look at how we are going to work with the Aura. So for working with the Aura, you have to just go visit up here and go to the developer console. There is a small topic is remaining, a Visual Force component. We were not discussing about that. We will discuss about it later on. There's a component just like Aura component, just like Aura components. We have also a Visual Force component that is work similar to the Aura components. Means we designed, suppose this old whole code I put paste up over there. So it's quite similar to Aura component. So first we discuss about the Aura component, then we discuss about the VF components. So in order to design Aura component, we have this option called lightning component. We have need to click on that. So whenever we click on that, it will ask for this what will be the name of the lightning component. So let me write okay, my first Aura component. And here it is asking for the checkboxes. Means in which place you want to add this component. Suppose you want to add this component on a lightning tab, or a lightning page, or a lightning record page, or a community page, or a quick action, or act as a quick action. These are the few places where we can add this our component. So right now I'm left as it is blank. Means I'm not going to add somewhere. I'm just going to learn that how the component are being used. Thereafter we will think about it, how these things are working. So let's first create our component and then hit submit. Whenever you create our component, you get this 8 files. Yeah, there is a 8 file which have its own role and designed to work with the own role. So just like that, it's a component where we place all the UI part, means all the HTML parts or designing parts or Aura parts, Aura tags. Just like you have seen in the VF page, we have Apex pages. No? Yeah, what is that? The heritage VF page. Just like in the VF pages, we have seen the Apex pages. Just like it's the similar in the Aura components, we have seen the it's a present Aura component. The concept is always same. Means Selfos using the concept always same. So only the tags are changing, but the concept is remain same. So so it will here we place all our HTML files or our files, means all the designing part will be present up here. Then we have a controller. In this controller we define all the methods, that all the action we can say that, suppose on the button we had need to when a user click on the button, then button we call the action, that action is present up here. Suppose user click on a button, suppose user hover on any text or something like that, any action that need to be performed. Suppose when the page loads, you have to perform an action so that it will fetch the data from the controller and then display over up here. So all the action that need to be performed, that all the action that need to be performed on that component will be placed up here. It's a kind of a JS file, and it will be placed up here. Then we have a helper is just like a helper component for a controller. Okay, it's a kind of a helper component of a controller. Here we are placing only all the logics are present up here, means all the logic. Here we are just adding the methods which are called, means they here only the actions that can be called from a component in the controller class, controller JS. And all the controller JS will call helper methods. Helper method contains some logics, reusable code, and everything. Means most of the places, most of the time it contains the logic and the reusable code. Means suppose the same, so suppose we have to use same code on the different actions. So I will create a helper method that have that method, means that common code, and we use that common code and each and every places. And the fourth one, that is we have style. In this we declare the classes as style name says, we declare the classes so that we can customize the UI of a component. Fifth part is the documentation part. It's just a documentation, nothing and more. The thing that you just have to describe what the component name and what's it's using, nothing else. Then we have a renderer. Renderer is a quite a thing that uh, it's an act as a trigger. Means trigger in that trigger, but it's trigger in something for the here this component. Means whenever variable changes, or whenever UI refreshes, or whenever any action that perform that refresh the UI, so that is control from here. Render part means you design some before and after action, before rendering that before refreshing or rendering that particular piece of a component, particular section of a component. Then if you have to perform anything else, so that is the we can do up here. Then we have a design attributes. Design attributes are the things that, suppose here when we click on edit page, and you want something that come that's yeah, these are called as the design attributes. Anything that we are taking wants to catch up from the user while working up here. Suppose this is a this is a path component which wants this design attribute format, linear or something else, non-linear. Okay, so these are the design attributes. These are the design attributes that ask the values that should be entered by a user while adding the component. So whenever my component wants something uh, from the user to add to put some values while adding the component on any detail page or tabs or somewhere else. So we use the design attributes. We declare the variables that will taken out from the user while adding the component. And last we have a SVG. SVG is the kind of just you know that SVG files means this is a kind of images. We place all SVG files up here and used in a component. So this is the way that this is all the files that are present. This is all the 8 files that are present inside Aura component. And usually in the interview they will ask the what are the name of the files, what are the name of the files that present in the Aura component. So you should remember these all file names and why we are using those files. Okay, so let's start with a small just like hello world. Okay, I hit save. It's got saved. Okay, it got saved. Now how we preview that component? For previewing that component, we have an called Aura application here. Aura application. Okay, we are leaving as it is blank. Lightning out dependency app is a kind of a thing that whenever we have to use the lightning that component outside the Salesforce, so it will use for that. We will discuss about it later. First, we just work on the default configurations. So I will hit the submit. We are here, and it's an application is created, and it is also at only the one part is missing. So only the what is the render and SVG, there is a part between that which is missing. Design attribute is missing from here because application does not ask for any design attributes, but we are not going to use up anything up here. We all think we will design everything in the component, and so we just call the component. And for calling a component inside an application, so we use that angular bracket C and then component name my first Aura component. Let's say, and then hit preview. When I hit preview, it's showing me up here. So so this is the way how we uh, create a component and preview that component, or make it preview or load that. It is just a similar that how we are working with the VF pages. We design the VF pages and hit the preview, just claim that. So just know this means whenever we build a component, add a component in your application and hit the preview button, so it will preview the in, preview the app up here or component up here. Okay, so let's begin that some topics that how the components is how the few things are present up here. So 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 for working on the Aura component, Aura component, you have to always visit the two places. First is called lightning GST component library. Okay, and second is SLDS, Salesforce Lightning Design System. Okay, okay, and here is the component library. Let me open that component library. These two sites you have to always visit while working with the Aura component or LWC. You have to always visit this site. Why we are visiting this site? Because on the component library we have seen that there is a there is a pre-built components. There are pre-built components are present up here. You don't have to write a code to build that similar things, and usually we get that all the things as it is. Means all the things we get. So we have all the requirements we get to work with that similar to this component. So you can see there are so many components are pre-built. You just have to open and just to click and open and just use copy and paste their code and use that is. So this is only for this component library is a pre-built components. We just click on that component, just like click on the component and copy the code and paste there, and you can use up there. Okay, so it's a quite simple. You can use the copy and paste and can use up there. And here it is lightning design system. Might be you have got a situation that you are not able to solve that thing in this component library, because that either it is not available, or it is not solving, or its UI it's not working, or something else, any issues related to the UI, or things are not able to build, or it is not present in a component library. Then we switch back to its switch back to the lightning design system. In the lightning design system we have just like if I need to design an input field, type input, and we have so many input field. But the thing is that it designed from a scratches means that we can see all the code related to design this input placeholder, input field. So we just have to copy this field, copy this text and paste up there, and you can use. Okay, so in this way it is working, and it is quite a it is only used whenever we have a situation that we can't use that we can't use this we can't use this or a component library while development. Then we have to switch to this custom development. Okay, these are the things. Means, and one more thing, whenever you have to do the branding, means complex branding, then we have to also move to this SLDS thing, where here we can, because we find that all the things are separated, we can change any class and text and everything. So whenever we have to do something like that, means we have to just build everything from scratch, so that I can do the branding, or it is not possible to work with the component library. Then we have to move to this SLDS, and SLDS we can see all the tags that are available. It's internal code, we can see that, and you can copy and paste the tags and use them. So let's first work with that component library, and let me let me design a form. Okay, so for designing a form, I want some few input box, so I will type input, and you can see there is a two section. There is a component and aura, means lightning web components. Yeah, lightning web components and aura. So you have to take the input tags from the aura. So I click on the input. When I click on the input, I can see there is a different types of input available up here. Means we have a date input, we have a time input, we have a color input, we have so many inputs, and you can use that inputs. You can see their example, and you can see their code too. So suppose I want to uh, create a smaller form, just first name, last name, email and phone. So let's take a first name. So for the first name, I need to use a text input. So let's I will click up here. I can see there is so many ways to there is so many things are available up here. So let's have a basic one, enter some text just like that. So I will copy this input tag from here. I copy it and go to my component and paste up here. Then I have to also use and then make changes. I forget that. Make changes. First name, and label should also says first name. Then I need to also place one more thing. Last name, first name, last name, phone. For phone, might be I have a phone input too. Number input, your telephone input. Basic phone field. This. And always, whenever you are working, just always try to get everything from here. Means always try to get for everything first. Always first have a look at that, if there is that component present in the component library or no. Because if it is, if you got that component from a component library, then it will reduce your task up to 60%. Your job will get reduced. So your effort will get reduced. I don't want to use the placeholder. And in the last, we have to take the email. So I think there must be email input to, yeah, email input. When I hit the save, Control S, I will press Control S and it got saved. Now let me preview my component. Let's close this other one. But you can see that its UI, it's not look good. It's not just like that we are seeing up here. You can see in the component library, you can see it's quite good. It's looking something good, but here it is not looking good. So it is only due to that application that we are using, it does not extend with the SLDS file. So we need to add the SLDS file. I think the tag will be force SLDS. Yeah, extend force SLDS. So I need to copy and paste extend force SLDS. Now you can see it's looks good. You can add the phone number, email, and all those things available up here. You can add and play with that. Okay. So this is the way that how we can use the use this form, means use the fields and use the fields and means use the component library, use the component library and to design our component. And there are so many fields. It's not 2 or 3. There are so many fields. You can see there is not, so there is so many. You just have to use whatever you want. Force. There is so many. Okay, so now let's create a button over up here. So creating a button, let's type button. You can see, click on that. That's a button. So let's copy the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This button. Okay. So yeah. So I created a button. Let's remove this one. I created a button. When I preview up here, it's reloaded. So I can see my button available up here, and it's no issue, and it's working. So as I told you that for adding for any action that need to be performed, I need to create an I need to go to the controller file. So let's first create an action, just like that. Suppose when I click on the button, we have to perform some action. So for that action, first we bind that click to the to our button. So for that, what we write, we write on click and then inverted commas and C dot handle click. C is for controller dot handle click. Handle click is an action name, just like here it's my action. So instead of, just copy this handle click and paste up here. So what it will do, that whenever the button is clicked, it will call this method which is present up here. Okay, so let's save it. And if I can't come to controller, save it. So it's a kind of a it's a kind of a method. It's a kind of a method which is called from this button. And since it is a JavaScript file, means it is you can see that it's .js. Since it is a JavaScript file, so I can use all the JavaScript operation over up here. Suppose I can do the logs, I can do the alerts. So let's first do alert. So whenever we click on this button, it will alert that, hey, I am clicked. So let's check it. Yeah, you can see it's showing me a message that, hey, I am clicked, and that's it. Means whenever I click on that button, it will, what it will do, that it will first for adding an action on a button, to whenever you click on that, you have to perform some activity. So whatever we do, that we just need to bind we need to just find the controller method, a method from a controller, c dot controller method name, and in that controller method name you can perform all the action that you need to perform. Okay, so let's move to the more advanced. So these now I need to see these values, what's the user inside entered up here, because right now I'm not able to access those value name. I can type the value name and hit the brand. Sorry, I chose it's not here. Oh, let's open no, open component. Open lightning resource. In that resource, here's my first component. Okay. So I want to capture these values inside that inside this controller. Means I want to capture those values what the user enter. So what we need to do, that, let's have a look at. If you are a JavaScript expert, then you can do that your basic JavaScript skills. But I don't want to use your basic JavaScript skills to capture this value, because once if you do that, here you can see, means you can capture that value by on the basis of name or on the basis of element tag. Any of the element tag you can capture of that. But since you are working with the component, just use the component, what's the component providing, what's the functionality provided by the component. So since we have a 4 fields available up here, and I want to capture those values, so I need to declare just like that programming languages. If we have to capture the values as temporary stored values, so we need to declare variables. That variables hold those values, and you can use that variables at any place. So for declaring a variable inside a component, we have an called as aura attributes. Aura attributes. Here, how we declare an aura attributes. just copy and paste. Our attributes, we have a name and we have a type, and you can see there is a this much type available up here. You can just see sorry, this is the tags available up here: access or name and type, default, required, and description. Access is the just like that. If you are declaring that attribute as a public, global, or a private, and concept is still same: public, available to all; global, available outside that component; private, only available inside the component. Then we have a name attribute. Name attribute, it's just like that, it's a variable name. Then we have a type, that's called that data type. And then we have a default attributes, which says that what is the default value while it's working. Then we have a required attributes, that it says that uh, it should be required whenever we calling a component. And then we have a description, that is just for the what's description, it's just for the describing what's that attribute do. So let's first have a look at that name attribute, just name and type attribute. Thereafter we work with the more attributes. So sorry, more tags. The attributes, its name. So I will type a first name in order to store. I will create a. I'm going to create a first variable. We can say that first name, whose type is a string. 3, 4. Then last name. Then phone. Then okay, I declare four variables to store to capture these four uh, capture these four input values. So in order to capture that four input values, we need to bind that variables to this input. So in order to binding, we just use that there is a there is a tag called value, and that value I will do, and then it quite same as we are doing in the VF page. On the VF page, we're also using this format and then direct variable name, but here we have to use V is called value provider, and here C is a controller. So it's a value, here it's we get the V, and V dot first name, V dot last name, phone. In the phone we are using phone, and in the email, on the email we are using email, and hit save. Now our attributes are got binded with this uh, now our attribute get binded with this input, and let's capture those values inside our controller. Let's capture those values. So in order to capture those values, we have if you look at that controller function, we have a three parameters over up here. First is component, second is event, third is helper. Component is a component is a parameter which says that we have this all the reference is available up here via this component tag. And we have an event is just like the same, that is a JavaScript event. Means whenever a button is clicked and we want to capture the information on the current clicked event or current action event, so we will get the details from the event. And then thereafter we have a helper is used to call a helper method, which is present in the helper JS file. So it is used to call the helper method, which is present in the JS file. First we work with the component, then we work with the events, then we work with the helpers. So let's have a look. So we have a component. So let's use the component in order to get the field values, get the values of this. So let's come up here, and what we have to do that we have to just type component. In order to get the values, means in order to get the values from these attributes, means these attributes, in order to get the values from these attributes, let's declare a variable component dot get v dot attribute name. Okay, so this is the way that how we can get the values of from an attribute. It's just the same that we use the component dot get component dot get and then variable name. V dot means v dot variable name, and it will I can get I can get that value what is present in that first name, and let me alert that value. Okay, let me come up here and refresh it. Okay, when I click on detail, since there is no value in first name, so it is nothing is up here. Sorry, undefined it's coming up here. So let's add some value. Now it's showing that what will be the value I entered up here. It's showing up here. So in this is the way that how we are capturing a value from a input field. So what we have to do that we have to design an attribute. We have to bind that attribute up here and capture that value directly from here. Actually, it's a kind of a wired function, means whenever we make changes at any place, it will got reflected each and every place. Yeah, if I make changes in this value, so all the values, all the references attached with that first name got changed at the same moment we make changes in that first name value. So
Raj, I get a little bit confused. Like, we use this first name in 3 places. One of them is aura attribute, second one is lighting input, and third one is in controller. What is the relationship like? Like, can you, like, whenever you put input in the input box, what happens? Can you step by step tell us? Like, first I write something on the input box, and what happens whenever we click to save? Which one is working in the first place?
okay,
which line is working? Like, can on the UI, whenever you enter to the input field a person's name, which line of code is first running? Like, can you explain like this run the second one? So maybe it make more sense for me.
let me cover this other. Okay, now we have only two things: first name and an input box and a button to capture that input. Okay, so if I don't declare attribute, if I don't declare attributes, and suppose I don't declare any attribute, so what it will do that I can't capture this what should I entered up here, I can't get that value. So I can't get that value directly, means there is no way to get that value without using the Java. Means we can get the value using the pure JavaScript method, means we have to just write a long piece of a code that we need to uh, do the inspect and get the name of that file, means attribute of that name attribute, and on the basis of JavaScript we have to capture that value. But since since Aura component has a flexibility that it will provide that we can just bind an attribute over up here, just bind an attribute with this input. So what will we do that whenever I entered something, it's get filled with this, means it's a kind of a variable which got which whatever I input up here, that value get initialized or get entered into this first name variable. Okay, so it's a kind of a work as a
Sorry to interrupt you. Actually, I think he want to ask about the name which we using like first name, first name everywhere. So he's confusing with the name which we using again and again. With like we just give the attribute name also first name. We just give the lightning input name is also first name. So I think he's confusing with the first name. Like again and again we are using first name. So which one is what? Something like that. So it's only we can.
So line 2 is what is the purpose of line 2? Line 13 is captures the input and assigns to the value of this name
To the
element.
line 2.
The
Yeah,
name, whenever name
yeah.
is first name, this field's value is whatever you put the input box. This one is capturing and also creating input box. Line 13, I think, right?
Yeah.
And
It's only to capture.
what about line 2? What is the purpose of line 2? If we don't have line 2, what happens?
If we don't have a line 2, then we can't capture the first name from what the user entered, because it's bind up here. Means let's make it attr first name. Then I need to use this attr over up here. So whatever the values are present, I am capturing from the input box. I will means what it will do, that whatever the value it's captured from the user, what the input he has inputted in that field. So it just initialize that value to this variable, just add that variable to this attribute. It's now it's this attribute hold the values which is entered by a input, which is entered in that input box. This attribute is holding that values. Okay, so and since this attribute is holding that value, so I can use that attribute at any place to capture that value. Okay, so it's a kind of a thing that it holds the value of a this input box. So what are the values that entered by a user, it's holded in this attribute, because I bind that what will be the value, I bind that via this method, it's via this syntax. I bind this this attribute to this input field. So what it will do, that whenever I entered anything inside the input field, it's uh, that entered value is holded by this attribute, and I can use that attribute in order to get the field value. Might be does not support under dash hyphen, so that's why PTT. It's not support. And I can guess what is the value entered. So it's just a thing that attribute, it's just to holding the value, which is present, which is from the UI, whatever the value that I need to hold in from the UI, I need to just declare a attribute, and that attribute is, and due to that it's holding the value, so I can use that attribute inside a controller or a helper, or any, inside a controller or helper, so that I can capture that value. So what in the short we can say that the attributes are used to hold the value that will have, that we will use to capture in the controller and helper. And this is the way how we bind that attribute with the our input field. So we just use their value, and in that value we pass the attribute, and that attribute will hold all the values that are entered by a user. So whenever you use the use component or helper, so we just use that component dot get and then attribute name, so it will provide that whatever with the value.
I think the confusion comes to my mind is from this curly braces. Whenever you put this one in curly braces, you are not assigning its value to the value, but instead whatever you get from this line 13, you're assigning to this variable v dot first name attribute. Curly braces meaning is work in reverse, I guess. Like normally, if you put something in the without curly braces, it means you're assigning a value on the HTML, the value attribute as, but this is working opposite way. So you get the value of this field and injecting into another element by this. So this works like injection.
It's work as an injection, but it's a two ways. Means it's a kind of a wired thing. Means we can say that suppose I need I added a default value DEFAULT default value. So once I add the default value, what it will do that? So it will capture the default value and show up here. Yeah. So it's
like
two ways.
Angular two-way binding kind of.
Yeah, it's a kind of
Okay.
Yeah, it's a kind of a that it's a two-way binding. When so if I make changes up here, it will also reflect it at here, and if I make changes here, it will reflect it to that attribute. So it's a kind of a two-way binding.
Okay.
Okay. So let's back. And then we have a last name. I'm just binding this. Okay. Let's come up here and capture those values. So this is the syntax coming from the JavaScript. It is a JavaScript syntax where. So I'm just storing what I get the value from that component. I'm just storing that value to a JavaScript variable. So this is that thing. So let's take first name, sorry, phone. Okay, it's a first name, and now we can alert all those field values. Suppose I need to alert the phone, so I will just phone and hit save and refresh it. And I click on get details, so it shows me that all those field value, and that means this is the way that how we capture the values and how we capture the values and inside that JavaScript and display that value or use that value. So just like that, I'm using that value to alert the fields. Okay, so let's have a break. After that, we will discuss more about that. And if you guys have any question, you can ask. No, then just let's have a break. Okay. So we discuss about that, how we capture that value inside a controller. So suppose we also got a requirement that we need to set that value, means just like that. Suppose I need to set some value, and for setting a value, let's what should I do? Okay, so for full name, I design an attribute called full name. And use that full name attr attribute put up here. Okay, so I will set that full name value, last name, first name space last name. So what I will do that, so since I captured that full first name and last name, now I need to set that full first name and last name. So since it is a kind of a two-way binding, means suppose I make changes in attribute, automatically get reflected over up here, means yeah, full name. So whenever I make changes, since it's a two-way binding, means whenever I make changes in this full name attribute, this also get reflected to this full name input field. So what I will do that I will take the use of that property and make changes over up here. So I will set a new value for this attribute, full name attribute. So I will copy that attribute name and do some changes over up here. So I will just, instead of using get, I will set, and I will base the v dot attribute name, and then I paste the new value. So new value, I think that's first name plus, let's put a space, and then last name, and then that's it. So whenever I click on this button, so whatever I just use the first name, last name, it available up here. Let's reload. Okay, and I click on get details. You can see it's showing up here. So what is that means that whenever I make changes up here, whenever I make changes in the attributes, so since it is a two-way binding, so I make changes in attribute, it will reflect each and every places where it is bind. Suppose I bind, instead of input field, I bind up here directly. Okay, I'm not using anything, I just using the directly on the page. So okay, so it's showing up here. You can see it directly on the page, also available. So at any places I bind this value, at any places I bind that value, it reflect the changes. So it will reflect the changes over up there.
This assignment, does it always do in controller, or it can be also in this page?
No, it's always do in a controller or in helper.
Okay.
This via coding means if you want to assign, it's just they have a tag. It's just for example, it's not a real case scenario. It's kind of example that it will help. Suppose I create a new field called test, and it's also have the same binding. Yeah,
I mean, like if you are manipulating some data, you need to use controller or helper.
Yeah, if you need to manipulating some data, but you can see that since I bind up these all three places, the attribute is same. So I make changes at any place, it will directly changes up here. So that's the thing that is also a property, but that is also a property of that. Means that is it's wired. Means this is known as wired property. Means if I make changes at any place, it will got reflected each and every places. That is called as a wired property. And yeah, so in this way we can also think that we can make changes on the VF page also, but it is not always be a use case. Means usually we are not using this. We are using a controller to make changes in that field, that attribute. Sorry. So it can be done either in component or in helper, because both are JS files and both techniques are same. Means component.get is used to get a value from attribute, and component.set is to set a new value to an existing attribute. So these two ways how we capture the value and set a value. Okay. Now okay, so that's the thing. Now suppose I want to pass this value. Now the third thing is arises that we need to communicate with. This is just an example for a UI. This is the example for UI that how we communicate with the attributes and fields with the controller. Now I'm going to how do we communicate with that controller to the Apex controllers, so that we can fetch out the details and save the details inside the Salesforce. So I'm going to save these details on a contact record. So I'm going to save the details on the contact records. So for that, for that first we have to create a Apex class that will accept those parameters and insert those parameters into a contact record. So let's create an Apex class.
Sorry, can I ask you a question?
Hmm.
Can you please again summarize the difference between controller and helper? I didn't really get that.
Okay, controller is used to is used to declare the events or actions. Yeah, it's used to declare the actions that is directly called from your component page. Okay.
And helper? Okay.
Yeah, and helper is used to place common methods that are used by the controller. Okay, the common methods that is used by a controller, we place that functions or methods or anything, means anything just, or logic, means if you want to place a logic that whenever the button is clicked, I want to do some complex logic, so that logic will be placed in the helper method. So helper method is used to used to capture the logic and the common methods, these two things. And controller is a place where we keep our actions, so that it will call from our component.
So this controller and helper, they belong to directly this component page only, or can they be used for different pages? Helper.
No, it's only for this. It belongs to only this. They are not going to be used for any other pages. It's only used in this.
Okay, so each page has its own controller and helper, all of them.
This one is only used for my first hour component class, isn't it? Suraj, I'm telling, this component controllers use only for my first hour components under this.
Yeah. Only for this.
Yeah.
Only for this.
Okay.
I did not understand helper. Can you please again?
Helper is used to only the keep the methods that are used means it's only used to keep the logics. Suppose logic in the sense that this is my logic. Okay, this is my logic that I'm capturing the values and doing some action. So I can keep
Mhm.
that instead of here, I can keep up here, and I will call this since it will ask for the component. So I will and this method I will call it from here. And I
But
need to
anyways, if we want, we can also create helper inside of this controller method, right? It's like creating another function inside of this one will be working the same.
yeah, yeah.
But
It's just a
this
great.
way it makes more organized, I guess.
Yeah, it's actually it's to make that our our code looks more organized, because in the controller we don't put so many logic, so that it become more longer and it's harder to understand. So it's more organized, just like it's that we a helper is used to just keep the logics and common methods, so that we can capture those methods at any place. Just I'm giving to show you an example. I'm going to show an example for that. Just like that, I what I have done that I just put that these two from here and put in my helper. So what will we do that this method, what will do that will change the means helper. We can just say full name helper. I created a full name helper. What it will do that it will capture the first name and last name and just set the value over up here, and I use that call that method over up here. So it's called that method, and let's create uh, I created another button called create full name. Okay, and in that method I create another method handle full name click. Okay, I copy this method name and I remove this all this code. I just keep that only helper method, and then here. So what it will do that I just use that the same helper method is available for both components, means both actions are have the same helper method to the do the job. So let's have a look. So I click on get details. It's also might be helper dot full name is not function. Let me check. Helper dot full name helper. It's correct. We're passing the component. Right, it's not saved. Let me see. Okay, that helper is also doing the same thing. Suppose I remove and click on create full name, it also doing the same thing. So that helper means on that helper we place the logic and a common method just like that, which can be used in both places. So helper is only used to design some is used to place the common logic and uh, methods that can be used in a that can be used inside a controller, because I can't call this controller method inside this controller. So I can't call this controller method inside this controller method. So what I will do that I will create a function helper and use that helper method to add both places.
Perfect. I understand. Thank you. Got it. Thanks.
So now I'm going to communicate with the server. Actually, the Aura components work on the client side. So actually it's a JS and HTML file. So it's a work on a client side. So I'm going to communicate with this component with the server. So for the communication, we need to design a Apex controller. So let's design an Apex controller. Apex class, my controller. I write that, and it's created my first Aura controller. And so in order to access a method inside an Apex class, we need to declare a method as an annotation, just like @Aura enabled. Okay, we need to write an annotation @Aura enabled and then declare our method public static. These three things are important for accessing a method which is present in an Apex controller to the Aura component. Then we have a return type which will be an optional, and then let's Apex method. Okay, and then I'll just give that, and let's put a system.debug. I created a method, Apex method, name is Apex method, and I'm going to call this method from my Aura component. So let's copy. So for calling an Apex method, I forget the syntax. Apex Aura. That's it. It will find that. So no. Lightning. Here. Let's first create a separate method called handle Aura call. Let's copy this, paste up here, remove this, and copy this code and paste up here. I want some. There is one more link. Okay, let's. Okay, so once we are up here, means once we are declaring a method to call an Apex method. So what we have to do that first, we have to just go to the component and bind that controller. So binding a controller, you have to controller, and in that controller, I need to bind the Apex class name. So here's the Apex class name. I copy the Apex class name and paste up here and hit save. So controller got bind. Now I just move up to here, and now I'm just calling the I'm just going to call the method which is present in my Aura controller, which is here. I want to call this Apex method inside that my Aura component. So I copy this method, and before that just copy this syntax, all the syntax, because the syntax is always remain same. Just copy the syntax from any from this link or any places, means you just have to search for that Apex, Aura, Server, Lightning. That few important tags that you can just click on, search, and then copy the methods. Sorry, might be expired. So just yeah, it is also expired. Wow. It's LWC. I think it's also LWC. Why did I move that? Okay, yeah, this one. This is important. You have to copy that method. This one. This is the I'm searching for this one. Okay, you have to just copy and paste this method. This is the way that this is the exact syntax on which we are calling anything from a controller. This is the exact syntax. So what you have to do that you have to first change the CMP with the component, and in the action it will asking for the method name. Our method name is Apex method. So just copy that Apex method and place it here. Since we are not passing any parameters, so we are remove this one. Now in this line we are creating a callback. Callback means that whenever whenever Apex call this action, so once the action got completed, means once the action got completed, what we need to do? So so for that we just create a callback. In that callback we get the response. Response is a thing that what will be the response we are getting from that our Apex controller. So we get the response, and on the basis of response we just create methods, or we are checking that on the basis of response, just like that what will be the state of a response it will provide. It means whenever the Aura call an Apex method, it provides states that is either be a success or incomplete, or we have got an error. So success means successfully called, incomplete means might be there something error got happen, and which is means that might be server not found, just kind of thing. And error is just it will throw in any exceptions. If our method throw any exception, that will come up here, that will catch up here. So I will just remove all the unwanted code from here and just make it clean.
So these are the API calls triggered. Is it catching the API calls or XHR calls in the?
No, it's not a kind of API calls. Means I'm not getting means
Like this action setback, it's what is it like always? Is it always watching an API or something to happen?
No, it's not always watching this API. Just whenever you call this method, this action, it will call this, just execute this JavaScript. It will execute this JavaScript. So what will be that? Just call that Apex method, and what will be the response I'm getting from that Apex method? It come up here.
Okay.
It's a one-time call. Whenever we hit this method, it will just a one-time call. It will execute this statement, and then at the last we have a.
Show the Apex method again. Like, is this method we write, or?
No, we write just Apex.
Okay. Just empty. Okay.
It's just an empty method. Okay, and then at last we have an NQ action. NQ action is why we are doing that. NQ action is only to thing is that actually the whenever we are using action to make a call to the Apex server, it's work in an asynchronous way. Means it goes asynchronously, means it's leave the current thread, or we can say current, it's work in an asynchronous way. So that asynchronous way we should come back to our component, means it should come back to our component. That's why we use the enqueue action. So what will be the action that what will be the action that I'm performing? It should come back to my component again. So for that we are using the enqueue action. Okay, because because the server call is, it's not a synchronous call, it's an asynchronous call. So whenever that call completes, it should come back to our component. So for that we are using the enqueue action. So it will put that action in a queue, and whenever the it's got completed, it will do these things. So that's it, and this is the way. So let's have a look. Let's call this method from our button. From calling a button, let's put br, no, sorry, HR. Let's create a button over up here. HR, you know that it's a horizontal row. Call apex, and what with our action name, handle Aura call. Handle Oracle enter apex call. That might be a good name. Handle apex call. Okay. So let's have a refresh over up here. Okay, I'm calling apex. Just I click on it. From server getting null, and let's check my logs. It does not show any logs. Wow. Let's call this. Oh no, it's coming. That seems not showing. So I'm checking my logs, and I put a debug over there. So it means that apex method is called. So in this way, we are calling an apex method via our component, via our custom Aura component. So for that, we need to just first we design an apex class, put a method with Aura enable public static. That three statement must be present up here. After that, it might be return function or might not be returnable function. I mean, return something or might not be return something. And then we have, what is that? And then we have to bind that controller. And in order to call a method, we just have to use the action and then method name. And then we have to use the action set callback and then enqueue action. These three things you have to do in order to call a method from a server. So let's make that method to return something. Let's sorry, string, and it will return a string, say success. So what it will do that it will now in my alert, its response that get return value will return that what will be the value return, it will show up here. So let's refresh it. Calling, and you can see this now the success is showing up here. What will be this from the server, I'm getting that response success as a response, and it's showing up here. Okay, so now
is this success is same success as the state or not?
I returned this value success, that's why.
Okay.
Success from server, success from apex method, it's nothing, it's I'm returning that value. Yeah, success from person, nothing. Actually, it is returned from there. No. Its success is state. State is a different thing. Okay, so in this way we are calling a method from an apex and getting a response from an apex. Let's have a look at how we pass a value to an apex. Before that, I want to move this method to a helper. I want to make it more clear, that's why. Okay, it's working fine. Now, while working with the JS or a component, don't use the alert. Use console.log. Okay, put your habit to use console.log and put your habit to see the console logs, just like that. Now it will not show an alert. So in order to see the console log, you have to do the inspect and hit the console. And whenever I call the apex, it will show that here. You can see that what will be the response I'm getting in the console. So always do a habit of to see consoles instead of alerts. So just put that everything in the console, and instead of using plus inside a console, use comma. That's the two things that you have to use in while working on the Salesforce. So just like that, it's using plus. I don't want to use the plus, use the comma. Okay. So I'm getting a response from the server. Now it's this method cannot be, means it's quite I'm not able to demonstrate it, but this can be, I'm not demonstrate, because incomplete is a thing that we need to inside. I'm not able, I haven't seen that thing. Whenever when server is not found or something like that, then it will be worked. Let's put an exception. So throw Aura exception. I'm going to throw a custom Aura exception so that it will return an exception. Throw yeah, here. So where instead of that, I need to just it will not work. I need to check. I need to check something. So for throwing it, for demonstrating that, let's first learn that how to make that function as a parameterized function. Thereafter we work on that. So let's pass a value to our apex method. So for passing a value, first we need to declare a parameter over up here. So let's declare a parameter, string first name. Okay, the string first name. I put a parameter called string first name net, and then I hit save. And in order to pass a value to this component, let's first name, and you have entered success, you have entered. Let's put a message of ENTERED entered plus whatever the value. I'm just returning that value. Okay, and here where I'm where JS, no, not helper. In the helper, I need to pass that value. So for passing a value, I need to copy here from here, passing a value. Yeah, action.set params. Come up here, set params. It's a syntax, and then we have this one. First name is the name that that is present inside this Apex method. First name. It is the same thing. So I copy this one and paste up here, first name, and there we have to send the value, which is called component.get first name. So in our case is first name at attr. So let's change it to first name attr, and instead of cmp, in our case it's called component. So I'm changing it here. So what will we do that? I'm setting a parameter to our method that and the parameter key. It looks like a key and value pair, key and its value. So key of that parameter will be same as the parameter present in the Apex. Same. Yeah, it should be same. And second thing, we are passing a value, so it should be done via component.get. So it will get and pass the value. Let's have a look. Let's me refresh. So what I have done that whatever the value I passed, it will just process that value and send me a message that you have entered, and whatever the value I'm passing from there. So let's call the Apex, and it shows that hey, you have entered the test. Suppose I make some changes again, I click on call Apex, so you have test ASTL. So that's the thing. Now let's work with the custom exceptions. So for that, let's put here, I'm checking that if user entered the test, means what is that? Means if user does not make any changes in the default value, then it will throw an exception. And throwing an exception, I'm just copying this line and paste up here. Throw an or exception that you have not make any changes in the first name. And save it. Now I'm coming up here and then refresh it. So call Apex. Now you can see that it goes into that exception and showing me the exception. You can see where it's helper. Yeah, now it's going into this section, error section, and showing me that error. You have not made changes in the first name. Okay, so if any exception comes up, it goes into here. If we got success, it goes up here. And this is incomplete section. If that's it cannot reach to that server, something like that, then it will go into that thing. But these two things are important whenever you got success and whenever you got exceptions. So these two things that you need to handle. So what is that? Just like that, response.get error, it will get the errors. So it will get the errors, and we just process that error and show in a console.log message that you have got this error, that you have it whatever the error message I'm throwing from here in the Apex, whatever the error message I'm throwing from here, it captured, it will captured up here and shown up here. So this is the way that how we pass a parameter, how we get an exception, how we handle an exception, how we get a response from a server. Means that is also important thing, how we get a response from a server, how we get a error from a server, and how we control that error in a server, how we call a method. Okay, these type of things that that are the basic things that we have they had, and approximately that in this these few things that whole Aura component will revolve around. Yeah, the whole Aura component will revolve around these few things, but we will discuss about that some more complex situations and some more situations that how to design a components and how to design handle the situation. But these are the these are the basic concept that on which the whole Aura component was revolving around. Means how we declare an attribute, how we use an attribute, how we set an attribute, how we get an attribute, how we set a value inside an attribute, how we get a value from inside attribute, uh, how we call a method, apex method, how we call up, how we set a parameters in apex method. Suppose I got a success, and in that success I want to set a response. Suppose response, and let's say default value. Okay, and I bind this response value to here. Okay, I bind that, and let's set that value. So whatever I'm getting the response, I will pass that response to this. Okay, so let's and call apex. So you can see that it's got changed. So this is the way that how the things are working. Means the concept is always remain same, that how we get a value, how we set a value, that how we pass a value, all this remains thing. Only the situation that changes, and on the basis of situation we just change the code. And while working on the UI part, you have just focus on that. Always try to find some pre-built piece of a code, copy that code and paste it here and do the changes just like that. If I need to if I need the input box, so I will just go to the component library, copy the input and make changes and use up here. If I need to make a server call, so I just go to that apex means go to that Salesforce documentation, copy the method and make the changes and use up here. So while working on the UI part, so always means you will see that means you have to always just copy and paste the things already, because all the possible cases are already pre-built, and because everyone is working on the apex and they have already pre-built all the things, and Salesforce itself pre-built all the UI components. Means maximum UI components are pre-built, and you just have to search, copy that component, paste up here, make the changes and use it. So UI development is quite easy, and the only thing is that complex is that the apex controller side. So when we are working on the controller side, that must be some quite different thing, but still the UI development is quite easy, apart from working with the internal Salesforce logic. Means database part is quite hard. Means instead of working on the UI part is quite easy. So any questions? We discussed so many things. Let's put a snipped. You can ask question, I can reply. I'm just making a snip. Okay. Sorry, component.
I have a question, but it's more like a personal.
Okay.
Maybe not everyone wants to hear.
Okay. So anyone else wants to? That I like it. In this Slack, I like this thing to add a code. So you got your component, controller, helper. Now you have to. I need to send the Apex controller. Okay. So if you guys don't have a question, then
I have. Can you stay on the call, please?
yeah, I will stay. I will call you.
Suraj, can you
Hmm?
show to open the application? I mean the preview. How do you do that?
For that, you have to create here. You have to create first. You have to create a go to new and click up here and add a application name and hit submit. Once you submit, you will see something like this. And see something like this, and there is one more tab coming up, this one, and in that case you have to add this line and this line. Your component will something like that, means once you create it, it's really something like show something like this one. So what you have to do, that you have to add this line and then your component name c colon and your component name. That thing you have to do, and once you have to complete this one, just hit preview and it will shown up here.
Okay.
Got it?
Thank you so much. Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Let me also share this code, so you will not find any difficulty.
Are we done?
Yeah, we are done.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Have a nice day. We are waiting for Mehmet's private question, actually.
Let's stay. We don't want to go.
Up to you guys. If you want.
Like
Thank
my
you.
all
Right.
other classes, Turkish students are so curious. They always wait till the last student leaves. What teacher is gonna say?
If you stop the recording, I can ask my questions.
Record it. We are leaving. You keep recording.